is my mission because there's a whole world available to us out there. And most of us are missing out on it because we're so busy, not cleaning the kitchen floor, and worrying about like thing after thing after thing. And it's completely unnecessary. It's like we're in a cage and the door's actually open, but we don't know it because we're looking in the other direction.
100%.
Like it is literal. There is freedom available immediately to everybody. And we just don't know how to take it.
Listening to the Decluttering Club Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Mueller, and it's my mission to equip women to declutter their homes, their time, and their lives so that they can cherish what truly matters.
You are listening to the Decluttering Club Podcast, episode number 44. How I'm leading the Decluttering Club differently. So in today's episode, we have a little bit of a different angle. I am chatting with my amazing, dear, dear friend, Bijal Patel, who is the host of the Own Your Brand podcast. And we're talking about motherhood and business and leading and big goals. Hope you enjoy it.
Yay, you guys. I have my really dear friend, the owner of Decluttering Club, Sarah Mueller, here to join us today. And I am going to let her introduce herself, but I wanted to take a moment and say, do you have that friend who relentlessly champions you when you don't even know you need it? And somehow she just like shows up in your life and is like, let's go. I'm thinking about you, shows up on your posts. Well, for me, that is Sarah. And so I'm excited to get to show her off to my audience because she's a beautiful human being. So welcome to the show, Sarah.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. You know that I love you to pieces and I am thrilled to be here. This is a great honor. So thank you so much for having me. My name is Sarah Mueller. I'm the founder of the Decluttering Club and we freaking help women let go of the baggage and the garbage in their lives. And it's like physical baggage, the stuff in the closets, under the bed. And it is also all the baggage that we've been carrying around for 50 years. That's what we do. And you know about that.
50. Just carrying around. So I think one of the things that is so different about what you do is that with the Decluttering Club, like you said, you just go inside first. You just go straight to the heart of people. So tell our audience a little bit. I know a little bit of your journey of just, how you were kind of at the life school. And like, I'm so interested in knowing specifically, how did your time as being a life coach help transition into what you do now for women and then where you're going?
Okay. So, I think I've always coached people, I think you do too, right? We've done this for forever, right? So I have been giving advice. Sometimes it was unsolicited and sometimes it was requested, but I've been giving advice to people forever. I started my business and people kind of liked what they heard and they started doing what I said. And they would come back and say, wow, I did that and it worked. And I thought, this is amazing. Because I know these things work. They work for me. I think they make perfect sense. I'm kind of confused about why sometimes people don't know the things that I know. But it was so exciting to me to hear that other people liked my ideas and that they were working. And so, I've been giving advice, but then I went and got certified with the life coach school just because I thought, actually, I kind of did that for me. I really didn't even I thought I knew how to coach. I really did. I thought, oh, I'm so good at this. I'm just going to go learn and go deeper. But turns out that there was more to learn. And so that was just an amazing experience for me and just learning how all these coaching tools and how to apply them and how I can create my own tools for my business and for my people. And so it really took me on this cool journey where, I think I stepped into my empowered voice. That was maybe the first couple steps into my empowered voice, the way that you talk about it. And that's been happening ever since. But I've just kind of learned how to go with, I think, the instinct that I have about people or what they tell me or what I hear and like attached to that one thing that they say. And I'm like, oh, this isn't about the, This isn't about the mug. This is about your childhood, or this is about your mother, or, your kids growing up, or whatever it is. And so it's been really, really exciting just to kind of see that unfold and, be willing to help people in this way, which is kind of audacious, but is working out great.
Yeah. So much to unpack there. One of the things I want to highlight for the audience here is like these series where I'm interviewing my peeps, they're just like an inside look into like our relationship. Like Sarah was like, what are we talking about? I'm like, what do we normally talk about? Like these are normal conversations that we have. And this is the type of friend that you need in your network. Like if you are a powerful woman who's building a multi-6, multi-7, multi-8, multi-9 figure company, you need to be surrounded by other women who are also at your caliber. And so one of the things that attracts me to you, Sarah, is the fact that you're a mom, you have 4 boys, you've not only managed them and grown them, and some of them are adults and some of them are still in their teens. Your ability, like you just said about the mug, is your listening skills that combine and intersect with your like insatiable curiosity to learn, I think is a superpower of yours. So tell us a bit about like, how does this powerful woman who's got a multi-7 figure, amazing company, how do you mom it up? I know you're dating somebody fabulous right now too. How do you create harmony and peace and still turn out to be an outstanding friend for people like me?
Oh my God. How do I do that? Gosh. Gosh, that is such a good question. I think
I'm here to ask questions that are really good that no one asks on podcasts. And I am dying to know the thing that people never ask. So I love that it stuck to you.
I mean, I think it's a combination of a couple things. Like, I was just talking to my boyfriend yesterday. I was like, I love Instacart, right? I love it. It's like the best because it saves me time, right? I had an Instacart order delivered yesterday. Amazing. And I feel like I am always looking for this is how it works, right? I'm always looking for opportunities for things to work better, for things to be more efficient, right? And that's how we got started before I was able to hire the Instacart and when I was still cleaning the floors and the kids were like sitting on the countertop because that was super fun for them. And that was like quality time for us. And also we got the house clean. I'm looking for ways to make my life easier so that I can spend the time with my kids that I want to spend. Right. So it's like, it goes hand in hand. Like, I don't want to spend any more time than necessary doing whatever needs to get done. But I do want to make sure that I spend the time with my kids and that they know, like, we're raising adults, right? We're not just raising kids. We want them to learn how to take care of themselves. We want them to know how to do the right thing when they're, 23 years old and they have a decision to make. We want all of that. So we got to spend the time in, but we also have to start training them now.
Yeah.
It's just, and I know you do this, right? Like talking about your values, like how would you do that? So I think I hand a lot back to my kids, right? Like they are responsible for a lot from an early age, but then also like I try to be available and I try to just like connect with them, when it's appropriate. And we have our routines. I used to read to them every single night, like for years, for a decade. I was reading books, bedtime stories to kids. And so I think we've had that quality time.
Yeah.
And also, I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm not trying to do everything. I am not the PTA mom. I'm so sorry, PTA. I've never been to a meeting. I just don't do that. And I'm not going to apologize for it. We took a gift card, it was the end of basketball season. We're like, oh, we should buy a card for the coach, right? We should do something. And so we bought a gift card yesterday and then we kind of forgot about it. And I was like, oh crap. So my son just took the gift. There was no card. There was no note, nothing, but we bring in a gift card to the coach. I said, just tell him thank you for a nice season. So I just like, don't worry about trying to be something that I am not. That maybe that is the key for me. I'm not trying to be something that I am not. And I am not like a lot of things. So that lets me like be the things that I am that I am good at, like all in.
100%.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. I think first of all, I think it's one of those, like, the name of this podcast is Own Your Brand. And what you're doing is owning your brand, owning who Sarah Mueller is, and being unapologetic about it. So I love that you brought up the tangible example. So for the moms listening to the audience here, it is okay to not be the PTA mom. It is okay.
Somebody else wants to be the PTA mom. Somebody else loves that.
Somebody
and is so happy to do that. And I'm like, yes, how can I help you? How can I support you? But don't make me come to a meeting,
No,
right?
Let's expand the conversation. Somebody wants to be the PTA dad.
Somebody wants to be the PTA dad. Somebody wants to be the coach. Somebody is happy. Like I will drive my kids anywhere and I will pick up their friends always, right? I want to say yes to that because that is something that I feel like I can contribute and like I want to facilitate their relationship. So they know they can hit me up anytime to bring a friend over and drive around and all that, like that's one of the things that I do. Other parents, moms, dads, they're super busy working. So like that works out, right?
Exactly.
So let's do the things that we are all like, what is the thing that you want to do? Like do that thing. Like what is that little idea? That's actually a big deal. Yeah. And it could help someone else,
Exactly. And I think also like in general, as women, we shouldn't be deriving our worth from like, we gifted somebody something, but then it had to have a note with it. Like what happened to just like going out of your way and showing appreciation? Like the gift itself is already a gift. The only reason we give a card with the gift is because there is this multi-billion-dollar company called Hallmark who decided that they were going to make money, papyrus, from you needing to have a card that went with the gift. It's not necessary.
Right. It's like a rule. It's like, I can't give a gift card without a handwritten note. And it should probably be like cute. And it, oh my gosh, and then what happens on the flip side? Now what do I do with this card? I'm supposed to keep it. How long? It's like creates all this drama.
And then we have clutter,
totally unnecessary.
Which then leads me to, so tell us about Decluttering Mission and just your, like, I saw that you posted about it today, so it's very timely. Talk to us about what your mission is, because obviously we work together on Decluttering Club. We went through the Brandfluencer program about 2 years ago. At this point, we started in 2022, which is awesome. Tell us about your mission that you want to see happen in the world.
This is what you pulled out of me. I didn't really know, kind of knew, but it was kind of fuzzy, right? And I think you believing in me, like you have been after me. And you've said this before, like, I will pull this out of you. And I was like, all right, what is it? Tell me what it is, because I don't know. And you were like, you totally know. But I see it. I see women and men, people, right? But I'm focused on the women for whatever reason. That is my mission. I see us that we are so consumed by all of the expectations, and be frugal and, and save for a rainy day and don't forget the hand-me-downs and like, don't be wasteful, and this is, it seems like a little thing, right? This is just housework. Like you're just teaching people how to do housework. No, we're not. This is not about housework. This is about like you feeling that it's more important for you to, have enough canned goods in the house to feed an army for the apocalypse, as opposed to you actually like enjoying your life and being able to cook dinner and, not feeling like so weighed down by all these rules that you think you're supposed to live by so that you can be okay. Right? Like we all think we're not okay unless we do this huge list that nobody could ever do. Right. And so that is my mission, is to say, you know what, this list, you can opt out of any of it at any time. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to send the gift card. You don't have to make the dinner. You don't have to do any of it. What do you want to do now? Most of us, we don't even know what we want to do. We have no idea because we're so busy trying to fulfill someone else's expectations. That person might have been alive 200 years ago. Who knows? Right. And so let's just stop for a second, and think about, what do we want? Like, what actually do we care about? And let's figure that out. And then let's be brave enough to do it, because it's one thing to say it and it's another thing to do it. It's another thing to actually say. I was like ready to send him to school I was like, maybe we should just skip it. But what the heck? And he was like, I'll just take it, Mom. Right. So I think if we can just own our desires, like we have to know what they are, and then we have to be willing to accept them. And that's kind of hard these days. It's really hard. So that is my mission, because there's a whole world available to us out there. And most of us are missing out on it because we're so busy, not cleaning the kitchen floor, and worrying about like thing after thing after thing. And it's completely unnecessary. It's like we're in a cage and the door's actually open, but we don't know it because we're looking in the other direction.
100%.
Like it is literal. There is freedom available immediately to everybody. And we just don't know how to take it. So I want to show people like this is available right now, and then let's deal with all the fallout, because there will be fallout and we'll have to figure that out. So that's what I want to do.
Yeah. And I'm going to, is it okay if I read off your mission statement? I have it pulled up in front of me. So this is the packaged up. So you can hear all the inspiration and you can see how much details and layers that Sarah has behind the movement that she's created. This is the mission statement for Decluttering Club: equipping women to declutter their lives so they can cherish what truly matters. Equipping women to declutter their lives so they can cherish what truly matters.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, I love hearing that still now, because it is so powerful of the reason and the intention behind, let's figure out, like you said, what do they truly desire and want, so that we can get all of the physical clutter and mental clutter out of the actual way. Because I know a lot of what you do, you actually help people with their overwhelm, their maybe mental and emotional stress, unprocessed grief, overspending, underspending, feeling guilty all the time because someone passed something down for them. These are really emotionally driven decisions that people are making. And I think that knowing and seeing the thought process behind how you walk people through processing how guilt has to do with a cluttered home is really where your life coaching and momming and personal brand, they all just kind of intersect together. So I don't know if you want to share a little bit about what does that look like for somebody who might be going through that?
Yeah. I think we all think I think we live in a world where we think things are supposed to be easy, and everybody else is doing it right and I'm doing it wrong. Like that's just magnified, right? I think that that's always been the case, right? We're always kind of looking to see like what's normal. Like that's the way that human beings operate. But I think it's more magnified now than ever before. Like it feels like everyone's afraid to make a mistake. And then, so of course they're overwhelmed, right? If you think you can screw up, remember when I came to your house and you were like, I'm a little afraid to show you my pantry.
Oh, yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
We had the best conversation about that.
I was legitimately nervous about you were a client at that time. I was throwing my very first brand intensive event, and it was March of 2023. So like last year. And I had to confess to Sarah that as badass as I sound and seem, I am legitimately panicked and nervous about if my pantry meets her standard.
Is it going to measure up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was such an opportunity for you to be transparent, and for me to be like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Like, that is not the way this works, right? Everybody thinks everyone assumes that I have the most organized house, and that I'm probably going to judge you. Even if I'm really nice, I'm probably still judging you. And that could not be further from the truth, right? Because I know that it doesn't matter what your pantry looks like. I didn't even have to see it. I was like, I don't have to see your pantry to know that it's fine. Because guess what? Like, it doesn't matter what it looks like. It's automatically fine. It's just a pantry, right? So we can kind of like set down the expectations and the shame, right? And we can be like, okay, that's, like that is just a lie. And now do we want to make the pantry look different? Okay, cool. Let's do that. But we don't have to do it because we feel shame or guilt or whatever. And we walk people through that. Usually it's a question of, they're expecting way too much and way too short of a time. I heard someone say, actually, I'm sure you probably heard this too, Layla Hormozi. She says that overwhelm is very high expectations, low certainty, and like a pretty significant demand. So, if you think my pantry should look like, the magazine, and it should look like that, but I don't really know how to do that, kind of uncertain. And also it needs to happen by tomorrow. Like, I'm going to feel overwhelmed. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Like, how do we think that's supposed to work? Like, why?
So that's low certainty, high demand. And
high demand, low certainty. Mm-hmm.
High demand.
Exactly.
Even that just takes, I love Layla Hormozi.
Right?
I'm obsessed with her.
Yes.
That what you just kind of walked through, and it's so fun that you used my example, is that we all, because we're in society and we're together and we're humans, it's fight or flight, freeze or fawn.
Yes.
And I think fawning is the one. So I've heard fight or flight, right? It rhymes. It sounds really good. Then you're like, no, it's fight, flight, or freeze. And you're like, oh, that makes sense. Then you hear fawn.
Yes. You posted about that today.
You did? Okay. So talk.
No, you did. I saw you post about it or yesterday.
Oh, I did. See, I don't even remember what I did, but
yeah.
Like, talk to us about how fawning is what really is hidden behind all of this stuff, because I didn't know that was one of the 4 F's that holds us back.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like apologizing and people pleasing. Oh my gosh. How often have we people pleased? We say yes to something. We're like, oh, you probably do it better. Your pantry is probably better. Like, who cares? It's a pantry. Let's talk about something that matters, right? Let's talk about like our relationship, or, like, what are your dreams? Like, what do you want for your life?
Yeah.
Like, I want to know that. Like, that is, but you're right. Like, fawning is like, I'm going to behave in a certain way so that you're going to like me. 100%. Right? Because I feel like I'm not measuring up. I'm inadequate. Like, my true self is inadequate. So I have to fawn so that you will like me. Right. Which is just a lie. It's always a lie if we're not being our true selves. And that feels terrible.
And what do women get complimented on all the time? How sweet she is. Oh, she's so sweet. Oh, she's so nice. Oh, she's so kind. And it's like this desire, women get placed into these buckets of saying, hey, you need to make the cookies for the community activity. You have to be the one at work who has to make sure we have breakfast pastries. Why? Who assigned us the extra thankless job caretaker role at work? And I think it holds a lot of women back because of that fawning.
Right. And then we like need it, right? Then we do everything. We base all of our activities around like looking for approval from others because we can't give it to ourselves.
Yeah.
And like, then we could just never get enough, right? If I always have to look to you to give me the thumbs up, you can never do it enough. Right. And if you don't do it one day, then I'm screwed. Right. Like, it's just a terrible place to be. We have to learn how to do that for ourselves. Right. And it all comes back to exactly what you do, which is owning your brand.
Yeah.
Like, that's the crux of it. That's like, know thyself. That's what's going on. And when we do that, then we have so much power, right? And freedom. And then like the world is waiting for that. I think from everybody, no matter what you do, I think that the world does not benefit unless you are like living out your life the way that you're meant to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, thank you for that, by the way. I think that us being in a later stage in our life too creates a lot less. And this is my audience is male and female. I know yours is primarily female, but men deal with this just as often.
Mm-hmm.
Just as often, they deal with that same feeling of when I think in your 20s and 30s, I do think that you're dealing with more of the external validation needs from someone else. And I can't tell you how many people I see kind of look up to the guru and be like, oh my God, they blessed me. And it's exactly what you're saying. If you were looking for me constantly from validation, or if I was constantly looking for you, our relationship would just be one in which we fawned one another as opposed to grew one another. And we are way more in the iron sharpens iron atmosphere where we'll support each other fiercely, but we're not afraid to just call the shot and say, hey, are you holding back? Wait, why are you thinking about this way? And I think, that concept that I've talked about in our household, love is accountability. I experience love as accountability from you. So if I'm stepping out a bit and not like really owning myself and my success and putting myself out there, I know you'll call me up. So talk to me about, I want to talk wealth and women, because you're an example of that. And I am so tired of women pretending that they either don't want health and they just want to be a pixie fairy dust who makes everyone's hearts happy and feel loved. I'm here to talk to the women who want wealth, are building wealth, desire it, and feel no given about getting it. And so talk to us. What does it feel like to be a multi-7-figure business owner? What
it feels amazing.
Feel like identity-wise? Sorry,
it feels amazing. I mean, I think it's taken me a long time to be able to get to the point where I feel good about, about my life and my money and, all of that, and like be willing to say it publicly. I think I still have some work to do. But I am a single mom. I was a single mom. My kids qualified for free lunch not too long ago, like literally, like probably 6-7 years ago. All the things. And, and I'm not ashamed of it. And I'm also not ashamed of where I am right now. And me owning, right, my success I think it is fundamental to me being able to accomplish my mission. Because I feel like I have to hide what's going on for me. It's almost like people hiding the clutter. Like if it's a secret, that we're a multi-7-figure business, then how can I tell people, it doesn't matter what your closet looks like. Like it doesn't have to be shameful. Right. And I think there's this weird thing going on with women that men have no problem about, flashing their whatever, their dollars, their Lambos, I don't know, whatever. like they're encouraged to.
Yep.
But women are not.
We're not.
And it's like, it's not polite. It's not nice. Don't make someone feel like they're less than, right? And this is like, that is, I'm going to just opt out of that. Like, that is not the way I want to live.
She's opting out of the shame that is put on women for being a multi-7-figure business. Yeah.
I just refuse. I refuse to feel like I'm not going to feel bad, right? Because if anyone is feeling like, if they're trying to shame me, like that's them, right? They cannot shame me. Like no one can shame me.
Nope.
I don't accept it, and I really understand that it's because like they're feeling their own shame is really what it is. It's just a projection. Yes. But I think we are so used to being the nurturers and, the ones that take care of everything. And that means we can't be in the spotlight. That's why everybody hates Taylor Swift, because she no given, right? Right. Because she doesn't care. She's like, this is what's going to happen and let's go. And the people who love her are like, let's go, because they see that power.
They see
right. And so like, what if Taylor Swift was, like, oh, I don't know if we could do this concert thing. It sounds like a lot. Are you sure? Sure it's okay? Like, no. And I think that's the example we want to set, for our kids, for the world.
Totally agree. I'm an enormous Taylor Swift fan. And I'm a Taylor Swift fan because of her personal brand, because of what she stands for and what she's unapologetic and unafraid to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I also love her music. I'm like a triple whammy fan.
Love it.
And
Yes.
so I love the fact that she's getting hate because I just did a post about this, that she has won an unprecedented 4 Album of the Year awards from the Grammys, and people are mad at her about it. And I just can't be happier that this is a human nature flaw and we must accept it. That if they can't love Taylor Swift, honey child, they ain't gonna love you. So like, let's just move on.
Yes. Right. I mean, it's so silly, right? It's just so ridiculous. You just have to laugh. Like, I think people are just bored.
I think are bored.
Like these people who are hating on whoever,
yeah.
Like, don't they have things to do? No, they don't. Right.
No.
Like the people who have things to do, we're like, what? What are you talking about? What planet are you on? Like, I mean, you don't have to like her, but then you just go on about your business, but there's just so many people that they're just bored and they feel very threatened. Yeah. I don't know.
Somebody else's success threatening you is an internal problem getting I'm really glad that you highlighted projection, because you can project your own inner shortcomings and trauma that's been unhealed and self-limiting beliefs. You can project that on people. But this new thing that I've been toying with and experimenting with that I am like super pumped about. We're doing this, Sarah, by the way.
Tell me, what is it?
We can all, I've been thinking a lot about projection and how it's a part of the human psyche. And it often gets brought up in a very negative sense. It's in the negative sense of like, I feel insecure about my own cash, let's say, or my own fame or my own fear. So let me project onto Taylor Swift. I'm mad that she's making too much money or getting too much attention and something like that. But we can also flip it and take projection and put it in a positive way. So what if we positively projected on one another? So what if I took my inner belief in myself, and I know my vision is to inject wealth into the businesses of women, moms, and minorities to drive social equity in the world. What if I take that and I project my vision onto developing your vision and say, let's go, Sarah. What do you have? What do you believe in? What is it that you want to see in the world? So my vision is sharpening your vision, which are you okay if I read out your vision statement?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the declutter, so this is Sarah Mueller's personal brand is separate than this. I'm just going to touch on this. Her vision statement is to help women find joy, fulfillment, and their intrinsic worth. To help women find joy, fulfillment, and their intrinsic worth. So, what do you think of that? Positively projecting.
Yeah, I think that's like inspiration, right? Like that's what we do when you have people in your life, right? Like you said at the very beginning, when you have people in your life that will build you up and support you, and who are also, I mean, like, your grandma can build you up and support you, right? And that's beautiful. But like our relationship, I think I'm constantly getting ideas from you and vice versa. Like without even you having to say anything to me, I'm like watching, what is Bijal doing? Oh, okay. That's a good idea. Right. So that is very useful and productive. Right. And that's kind of the opposite of fawning. Like fawning is like doing something to get someone's approval, but I can also look to you for advice and wisdom, guidance. That's not fawning. Right. Yeah. Like I'm not like, oh, you're so amazing, I want to be like you. I'm like, no, tell me what you think here. Like, you seem to be leading the way in this area. Let me learn from you, because I 100% want to learn from other people. So I love the idea of projecting success onto other people. Like hopefully they pick it up, like if you had a vision for me 2 years ago and I didn't see it, and little by little, I just started to accept it and be like, yeah, I think there's more here. It's not just about closets and pantries.
Absolutely. So this is a great time for you to tell the audience a little bit about what your experience was going through our Brandfluencer program. What did that feel like? What do you think that they would love to hear? Maybe what did you get away from it, or what surprised you about it?
Okay. Yeah. No, it was such a nice thing. I feel like, when you join a program, sometimes you're like, okay, there's going to be just all this, whatever, busy work or whatever. And it really wasn't like that. It was like a chance for me to just kind of get in touch with like, what do I actually want? Like, what are my values? Like, what are my core values? You hear, oh yeah, you should define your core values. I was like, yeah. Okay, fine. Like next week. I don't have time for that right now. Turns out it was actually really important. And I love that we did that because it's so important. Like to know what your core, and I didn't know how, like maybe I could have identified them by myself. Probably not. Right. But let's say I could have. I also didn't know how to use them and how to like apply them in my business, like how to talk about them. Like I was living them, but I was not living them out loud. Right. Yeah. So I think you constantly kept reinforcing like, no, you got to tell people that like, you got to like, this is where you get the opportunity to say, this is positive perseverance or, exceptional experience. I was like, oh, that's what that looks like. Huh. Okay. So I really appreciated, all of that work that we did that I honestly was like, I don't know if I have time for this. But it actually was so much more efficient than I expected. And it really did. I want to say it helped me get in touch with myself, but it really catapulted us. Like literally, like once we knew that kind of stuff, once I had identified and like quantified these things as opposed to them being kind of like vague and in my head and, some kind of, this is like this fluffy thing. No, this is actually everything. And we need to talk about this all the time. Now I'm getting to the crux of my mission. And I can go beyond just, like the day-to-day stuff, right? Because you got to do the day-to-day, but you need the mission and the vision and the values like driving that forward. Otherwise, nobody knows why we're here, and we're just kind of phoning it in. We're not just flipping burgers here. Like we're changing lives, so we need to understand that. So I think that you and your team, we all worked together to figure out what that really was, like what's actually going on here, like in my business, because it hadn't been quantified before. So I love, and then of course we did the logo, we did the colors and fonts, like we did all that fun stuff, right? The stuff that you really can, like that's tangible, but that was, that wasn't the important part. The important part was that the brand work that we did, vision, mission, values, core behaviors, all that kind of stuff.
I love that. I think that you nailed it because when we went through that process together, it's like so many business owners are just like you, where it's all in their head. And then I remember you having frustrating moments with the team. And you're like, how come the team is not operating to the level of excellence and standard I'm setting?
Yes.
And I'm like, Sarah, where can you point me to that shows what that looks like? That isn't just in an SOP that's a 20-step process. Where are the pillars that are your core behaviors? Yes. And I specifically remember, and I love that, like yours, when you got it out to your team, I remember your feedback of how excited they were to have the pillars like written out almost like principles or like a code of conduct where they finally knew what to do, since we call our stuff core behaviors, not even core values. They finally knew what to do to make you like completely happy with where they're going and where they're achieving and, where are they progressing, and that they're all fitting into the culture that you've designed for the Decluttering Club.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Like the one that we identified first was meticulous organization. Right. And I kept getting frustrated because I hadn't been telling people how important it was, and then when we discovered that, like all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this is why certain things drive me bonkers. Like I lose my mind if something isn't meticulously organized, like shocker. Right. But guess what? Not everyone knows that. And not everyone is meticulously organized. So maybe I should tell them.
Yeah.
Maybe they just haven't heard me say it. I haven't explained it. And when I do, then it's like, okay, at least they can get on board or not. But now I know why, I thought it was just like, I was like, I don't understand why people aren't like this. Like, I don't understand why not everybody's like this. Well, it turns out not everyone is like that. So this is kind of one of my superpowers, but just that exercise, this is not just a case of me having this little quirk. This is like everything. And we gotta define that. And then we gotta start telling people and like putting it out into the world so that people know how to work with us and, what it's like. And, our clients know what it's like and why that's so important. That's what they're missing. That's why they need us, because they don't know how to do that. So it was like everything.
It was so cool to get to meticulous organization for the owner of the Decluttering Club to be like, hey, we might. And that's often what I see with people is that they're missing your chief strength or your chief value is often the one that gets overlooked and isn't documented anywhere in the organization. Yeah. So I love hearing that. So tell us so that the audience can hear about like, what are your 1 to 2 main offers in Decluttering Club? Like, what do you tangibly help people with, or how can people get help? Because it's so fun to find out. We have a shared client amongst us. And when they met Sarah Mueller at an event, they literally lost their mind. You're like famous. And so I think so people need to know what's 1 or 2 things that our audience could reach out to you, follow you if they don't follow you, and know what it is you can help with.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're everywhere on social at Decluttering Club, right? Without the. We have an amazing membership. Like, I can't even tell you. It is just the people in our membership. They work so hard and they change their lives. And so it's called the Core Membership. And so, we work with people every day in there. We have thousands of members. It's phenomenal. It's so exciting. And we cover all kinds of things, right? So we cover organization and decluttering, of course, but everything we do is just infused with this mission, right? Of worthiness and, like letting go of all the baggage, right? It's the physical baggage and then it's the mental baggage. So everything we do is infused with that. So that's the membership. And then beyond that, we run challenges from time to time. So we've got, there's always either one coming up or we just finished one, one comes down the pike. So, people could just pay attention on social, sign up for our email list. And we would love to invite them to a challenge because those are also life-changing. And that's usually about a week, worth of time. You come and spend a week with me, and 10,000 of your closest friends, and we're going to have a blast. It's so much fun.
Or 30,000,
or 30,000, depending. Yeah. We've done up to
Sarah's chat. She's like so underplaying it right now. She's just got like 30,000 people who join her challenges. So let's just move on to personal brand. Like, who is Sarah Mueller and why are people so obsessed with you?
Why? I don't know. I don't know. You tell me. I don't know what it is. I'm like, is this just me? Right. I think I've said that to you before. Like, you tell me. I do not know. I don't know. I mean, I think I believe in people. I'm not bothered by like the things that they feel like are terrible, like flaws. Like, I see beyond that. I just see beauty in everybody, like we have our members and I love all of them to pieces, and the more I get to know them, the more I just love them. I don't know. Maybe I just I don't love everybody. I'm not going to say I love everybody, but I think the people that I get to know, I just see something in everybody, and also like, I'm so big on, I think one of my personal core behaviors and values is personal responsibility, right? So I'm not going to take on, there's going to be boundaries and I'm not going to, let you get away with stuff. So maybe that's the magic combination with me. I don't know. You tell me.
You see, there's a lot of question marks here. I just did that for my fun and pleasure. So we are working on Sarah Mueller's personal brand now that we've knocked it out of the park with Decluttering Club, and she's got that brand scaling, which is exciting. So I'm stoked. What I would love, Sarah, is for you to be able to answer that question in a few months period of time.
Okay.
With absolute clarity, because I think that it's worthy. When you have a really big mission or a really big calling on your soul, you will often be perplexed by what is it that people find so magnetically attractive about you. And so I'll just share one thing, not just leave you on the hook like that. I am attracted to the fact that you are very conscientious about your caring. You are very, very conscientious about it. So your love is felt, it's seen, it's vocalized, you're supportive, but it's not all just mush and gush. You're also not afraid to bring out the like tough love side and be like, let's go, and challenge as well. So I'm attracted to the both and part that you bring, where it's like the tough love. We're very similar. Tough love intersects with your biggest cheerleader. So that's what it is for me. And we'll be going on a quest here together to figure out what is it about your audience that like makes them crazy about you, but also so that we can push Sarah Mueller forward, the personal brand. And like I've already said it and I'm declaring it, we will be seeing Sarah Mueller and her products in Target one day. Like she is going to be at the level of Marie Kondo, but in a very uniquely Sarah way. And I just can't wait to see that play out. So I'm championing that. I'm positively projecting that on you. So let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up here. What is one thing that you are stoked about for your brand in 2024?
We are going to start doing events. So I don't know what it's going to look like. I have no idea. But I want to go out into the world and meet more people. I've been talking to people, we go to business events together and I can't get enough of it. And so I want to just deepen the relationships that I have with my community, right? My people. And so we're going to do that in the form of like in-person events, whatever that looks like. We got more challenges coming down the road. We have a lot. There's a lot going on. It's very exciting. Like, just watch out, world, because we're coming.
Watch out, world. You heard it here first. Decluttering Club events are happening in 2024 with the Sarah Mueller personal brand. Thank you so much for joining me, Sarah. It was amazing having you on the show.
Oh, I love you so much. Thank you for having me. Such a pleasure. That's all we have for you today. If you enjoyed this podcast, would you leave us a review? It would really help us get the word out. To start your decluttering journey, go to thedeclutteringclub.com. That is declutteringclub.com. I'll see you next time.